The area Lodgebox series continues from Richmond Raceway. This time, the last round of the round of 8. 4 drivers will be eliminated tonight after 160 laps and set the stage for the final round of the area Lodgebox series playoffs. That will be at Nashville next week. Hi everybody, Kyle Heyer joined by Hunter Sleppy tonight for this 160 lap race heading into the tail end of the day, twilight here in Richmond, Virginia. Hunter, welcome aboard. Tonight is going to be a fun night of racing. Relatively small field with all the stuff going on, but that means we're going to get a lot of green flag racing, and we still have a championship 4 to decide.
Indeed we do, and as you mentioned, a lot of stuff going on. Got Road to Pro action going on. The Daytona duels are going on as we speak, and then we got the Lodgebox series in the penultimate race before the championship event. We welcome and thank everyone who's tuned in tonight, and it should be an interesting one. Got 160 laps. It's the same distance as the Cup Series. Some of the drivers partaking in tonight's race partook in the Cup race Monday night, and as you mentioned, we will be eliminating 4 drivers. One of them we already know won't be in, and that's Alan Elwood, because he is a new dad, and we wish God the best for him and his wife and for the baby. But there you see the points right there. John Furness already locked in with his win last week at Auto Club Scioli. If he just starts, he's in. We've only got 20 cars in, so that should be pretty good for him. Beckner plus 18, he's at a pretty comfortable margin, but that 4th spot, that's a toss-up. It could be anyone's. Chris Rabel's got a 2-point gap. Shane Therian's 2 points out. Garrett Grant, Greg Mitchell, if they have a solid run tonight or a win, they lock themselves in.
Well, I was going to say that right now, Rabel's doing everything he can, except Shane Therian is on top of the board right now in practice, and that is a dangerous thing for Chris Rabel. He wants to be in control of this playoff picture, but right now he is position number 4 in practice, and the guy that's below him in the standings is on top. So if the 29 can stay ahead of everyone behind him, he might be in pretty good shape. But the second one of those drivers passes him, it's going to be a big toss-up here, Hunter.
Without a doubt. And also, Greg Mitchell is 5th in practice as well, so good speed for him. Going to need a little bit more. He wants to move on to the next round. And looking at it, we got point standings here for the team side of things. David Weinstar Racing at the top with Zekas in 2nd, and Sky Motorsports dropping down to 3rd, again losing Alan Elwood. That is crucial for the team standings and falls under the shoulders of Shane Therian and the rest of the Sky Motorsports stable. Then we got Keeping It Real Esports there, not too far behind. Unacceptable Darnell, and then Miller, Peak Expert, Dark Horse, and TUM, Central United Motorsports there at the bottom. Got 2 races left. It's going to be crucial for points.
Really will be, and here's a look down at the speedway. The weather tonight is comfortable, but on the warm side. 90 degrees Fahrenheit, 92 on the racetrack. It is pretty toasty out there, and that means that we're going to see that temperature probably drop a little bit as we get a bit later in the night here in this 160-lap race. The Cup Series race ended with the lights on in the dark. Hunter, will see the same thing here tonight. The drivers that are in the playoffs currently are in the green on the left, but there are 8 of them on the timing and scoring, or there should be 8. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Are we missing somebody else?
I believe we might be.
Therian, Beckner, Rabel, Mitchell, Scioli, Grant.
Throw up the other graphic. We are missing more than one.
Furness? Furness.
Believe so.
Oh, okay,
and he's already locked in,
so that makes sense. So that's no big deal. I thought we were going to have some drama already to start the night, but it sounds like everything's good on Furness's side. As, again, Shane Therian at the top of the board. And really, the drivers that could use the win, Therian is one of them, Mitchell is one of them, and Grant's one of them as well. Really, Chris Rabel doesn't need to do much tonight other than stay ahead of them and stay towards the front as best he can.
And Therian being 2 points back as well. If he can win the pole and lead the first lap, that's already 2 bonus points there. And then if he can somehow lead the most laps and keep it a clean race, that's another 2 bonus points as well. So all these drivers, and that goes for anyone that's on the outside looking in, they all have a chance to earn 4 extra bonus points if they can win the pole, keep the car clean, lead the most laps, or just lead a lap.
And tonight with 20 starters and 160 laps, what I predict we're going to get is a lot of green flag racing, and that means a little bit of strategy as well. Hunter, we've seen drivers kind of collapse under that situation where they hit pit lane early because they're struggling, and then they just end up kind of way down the order. They never really fight all the way back So what's the strategy tonight? If you're not running well, what steps can you take? I mean, you're already in a hard spot, but is pitting early the end-all be-all? I'd say that's worked out poorly for those that have tried it.
I mean, you got to do something different. If you're, say, Greg Mitchell and you're running 10th, 11th, and you need a win, you got to do something different. Maybe pit for fuel only or 2 tires, something to try and offset the rest of the field. We've only seen Monday night only had 1 caution, so it was just green flag racing to the end. And then we saw David Weishart try to pit, cut something up because he was in a points bubble that he wasn't supposed to be in. Well, didn't want to be in, but it didn't work out for him. Tried to do something different. He just called it a night after that. But you got to be careful here because, you know, that commitment line and that transition, especially again on the pit road, it could be crucial for the Lodgebox guys as well for Monday Night in the Cup guys. And looking here at the Twitch chat, I got Elwood that just dropped a message. Wish I could be out there, but becoming a dad has been the best experience. Hoping Shane can fill my spot next week.
Well, congratulations again to Alan Elwood and his family. Again, very exciting times. And all this sim stuff kind of gets pushed to the side for stuff like that, and for good reason. So wishing Alan and family and newborn baby the best. But we got a race to watch here, Hunter, and qualifying is coming up here in just a moment. Fans, be sure to subscribe to the Area iRacing Twitch channel. For only $5 a month, you can watch all Area broadcasts commercial-free. You can also use new Area iRacing emotes in the chat. You'll also earn double channel points as a subscriber that you can use to redeem for free merchandise. And if you're on YouTube, go to twitch.tv/Area iRacing. Those channel points, get that free merchandise, Hunter.
Absolutely. I'm trying to cop the Area hoodie. It's at 35,000 points, and I'm at now 27,000. So gotta wager more if you want to earn more.
I want an Area hoodie. Do I get channel points for streaming to it?
I think you'd have to be watching it.
I don't think that's how that works at all, but I wish it did. Garrett Grant in the playoffs. And big slide out of turn 4 to start the lap. We'll see what the strategy is tonight with the Lodgebox Series cars. Great looking sunset over the grandstands, the press boxes there. Grant sideways at turn 1, and it's going to be a throwaway for lap 2.
Yeah, that's unfortunate there. Garrett Grant are surprisingly a good bit of drivers that participated in this race back in season 1 that are in the playoffs. So, well, obviously Elwood's not running tonight, but he was the highest out of those with a 3rd place finish. That's Tellier in the wall, so that's not going to be good for him. Therian got 6th, Grant got 9th. Beckner and Scioli in the back, 18th and 19th, and almost a similar car count. We only had about 23 cars in that race, but obviously experience can help some. So, I mean, like James Scioli's won a good chunk of races this season, and he's already locked into the championship round anyway with his points caps. He's got 6 wins on the season. Travis Beckner, he got his first win at Talladega, but he's already got a big enough points cap as well. And Hudson is going to the infield.
I guess so. Going to the ether. Now he's rolling again. Not a lot of takers here in qualifying in the early moments. They might wait a couple of minutes, but so far just 4 drivers to put up times. And for all of them except Seth Noel, it was faster on lap 1.
One thing I noticed in the weather graph, it seemed like we have a very windy racetrack that gusting around 10 to 15 miles an hour. How does that affect a race car down the straightaways or even in the turns?
Well, it depends on where it's coming from. It's coming out of the west here, and I have to get my bearings on where we're looking here. But wind out of the west, that's going to be coming basically over the front straightaway, I believe. It's going to be west into the south is where the sun is. So, all right, so it's really kind of a headwind on the back straightaway is where it's really going to be a problem. And that will slow you down a little bit on the straights. It'll speed you up a little bit on the front straightaway because you're going the opposite direction. In the corners, though, especially at turn 2, it can create a pretty big instability. These cars kind of have a sail for a left side. And when you're coming up out of turn 2, Hunter, it's going to catch that wind. And we've already seen a lot of drivers struggling with loose off turn 2, so it's certainly not helping. That is plenty of wind. And interesting that you noticed that. It's going to be a pretty significant factor.
Already looking like a trouble spot for the Lodgebox drivers. Had a couple of drivers get into the wall very early on in this qualifying session. Here's another playoff driver, James Scioli. Unless he does something to get suspended, then he's locked into the championship round, should say, because that would be probably a 25 to 50 point penalty if he does something to do that, which very unlikely that he does. So looking to best his finish from 19th back in season 1.
I'm going to say, I mean, it wouldn't be unheard of to have happen. It just would be unheard of to have happen to Scioli.
Yeah.
Travis Beckner in the 27. I'm just kidding. But here he comes out of turn 4 to start his first flying lap. And across the line for the number 27, Greg Mitchell is out there as well. And Mitchell's a guy that could use some luck tonight. Scioli to the top of the board in the number 7.
Track record here, 22.074, set by Cameron Ernst. So a little bit slower for these Lodgebox cars. And mentioned they're coming across the stripe. Greg Mitchell in the 2, needing a good qualifying effort. Start up front, run up front.
That's easy. Harder said than done. It's not easy at all. And Mitchell into turn
Similar to what we saw, as I say, similar to what we saw Monday night. If you qualified up front, unless your name was James Scioli, then you had Scioli had no problem driving from the back to the front. But Monday seemed like mostly track position inside the top 5, top 10.
Oh,
there you go.
First
Third
lap.
quickest.
Yeah, that'll work. I don't know if he'll be able to do faster on lap number 2, though. It's been where everyone struggled. Bambro, Therian, and Forrest Smith on track. Therian's first lap did not count. Got into the wall, so we'll see if he can do any better on lap number 2.
Solid there.
Yes.
Solid enough to go on the board.
22.323 up to 3rd. Mitchell did not go faster, so Therian up ahead of the number 2 Ford. Going to change up some things a little bit.
Now it's only Chris Rabel, the other playoff driver who's yet to qualify. And if he can get a pole, that would be a huge bonus point to him. If not, then that's going to go to Scioli, who already has a big enough gap amongst the rest of the field. And looking at it, that's the number 20, Justin Munsell, in the Shrek scheme.
Tuesday's winner in the Truck Series for the first time. And that's got to give you a little bit of extra confidence on the night. And a throwback to one of Tony Stewart's Truck schemes. I think this is from Martinsville, if I recall. Maybe it was Richmond.
Yeah,
Maybe that's why he's bringing it back.
It's from one of these short tracks.
Ooh, big
Got
slide
loose
out of
there.
2, yep. And he knew it, so he immediately backed off, and he's going to set up for lap 2.
Yeah, just saying we've seen some of these drivers run all the way up on board there. Look at Shrek. Oh, he's having joy. He's having fun.
Munsell's first lap was obviously a setup lap, but puts him 13th quick. And out of turn 2, down the back straightaway and into turn 3, Forrest Smith waiting on track. Chris Rabel is rolling. We'll jump to him next as Munsell comes out of turn 4 on his final lap. And a 22.354, good enough for, looks like, 5th place.
Not too bad. And 22.29, that's good enough for 3rd on his first lap for Chris Rabel. Very solid for him. See if he can improve on lap 2. Been difficult for most drivers, although a little some of the field has. Going to come out turn 4, see if he can best it. He's beat a 22.25, and that's not going to be the case.
Won't do it for Rabel, so he will provisionally start 3rd. A couple drivers that could dethrone him are rolling up onto the racetrack. Tommy Ryan, Bryce Senesac. Forrest Smith, by the way, did go out and do a lap. Did not count, and I don't think we're going to see him go back out on track again. Steve Durham has yet to qualify. So does Paul Irvin and Matthew Cochran.
Tommy Ryan, we got to put down a lap here, so we got to keep an eye on this one because it seems like lap 1 is the money lap, whereas lap 2 would be in the money lap on most tracks.
And in most series, we saw that be the case on Monday and Tuesday. For lap 2, we had a couple drivers run fast on lap 1, but most were a little bit better on lap 2. So Ryan across the line, 22.432. That was kind of mid-pack, so he's still got some on the table to pick up.
Yeah, 9th quickest so far. Can pick up a little bit more. See if we can do it here, coming into 3 and 4. In less than 2 minutes to go, some drivers choosing not to qualify, although they still have enough time to do so if they choose. And the 99 going to stay, well,
no pickup there for the 99. Slower by 200ths. And Bryce Senesac runs a 22.646 on his second lap. That was slower than his first, so he will qualify 15th.
got a lot of multitasking to do. Favorite driver is Chase Elliott, so he's got an eye on the race and eye on both the duel and for the Lodgebox race.
I assume Chase Elliott is leading that race right now. If I had to guess. You got
it actually Kyle Busch.
Oh, hey, look at me go. All right, 55 seconds left here in qualifying, but I think the Durham, Irvin, and Cochran cars are going to stay in pit lane. That means that James Scioli will start on pole alongside Cameron Hearn and Chris Rabel. He just wants this race to end on lap 1, because if he started and finished there and everything else was the same, I think he'd move on.
Yeah, it'll be close with points at the very end. It came down to a tiebreaker. Well, not tiebreaker. It came down to a close call there with Travis Beckner on Monday night. If he didn't get loose and lose 2 spots, that was the difference maker. Actually, no, I think that one was a tiebreaker between Beckner and, I believe, Springer.
I believe. You're right about that. So qualifying is complete. And like Scioli and Hearn are going to share that front row. And in the meantime, got our starting grid coming up here in just a moment. Fans, be sure to visit Roasted Gems Coffee for some of the finest coffee from all over the world. Use discount code AREA iRacing for 10% off your order at roastedgems.com. Well, the sun is setting here at Richmond Raceway. You've joined SimTV and the Area Lodgebox Series for round 16 of 16 or 16 of 17.
16 of 17.
I knew it was one of those two. 16 of 17 here at Richmond, and our next race is at Nashville next week, and that's going to be a big wild card, Hunter. We've got in all 3 of our championships 4 drivers going for victory, but tonight we have to eliminate 4 of the 8 that remain in the Lodgebox Series playoffs. Initial predictions, you think that 29 moves on?
I'd say if he keeps it inside the top 5, he'll definitely move on. But looking through, if Shane Therian can pull through and get the win, then that's going to be tough to do. And Beckner seems like he's already a lock. Scioli's already a lock. So it's really just 4 drivers going after 1 spot. But I wouldn't count out Greg Mitchell either. Seems like his car was solid in qualifying and in practice. See if he can translate into the race.
Greg Mitchell in that number 2 will roll off in 5th place. We'll head down to the racetrack here in just a moment. One quick more look at the weather here for tonight. And the air temp dropping just a little bit, track temp just a little bit, but that wind still blowing, although it's kind of a little bit more variable now, south-southwest and down to about 11 to 12 miles an hour. But it still could play a factor into tonight's handling as we get this track rubbered in and maybe see some multiple grooves coming in. Again, this is the highest power to lowest downforce configuration of any cars we've raced this week, which means it's going to race a little different than anything we've raced this week.
And that should make for an interesting race, especially going into the corner. It's going to be tight. You can side draft another car, and we'll have to keep an eye on turn 2 because that seems like the trouble spot so far for these drivers.
The field is almost done and ready to grid. Let's roll through. Travis Beckner had an internet issue and has rejoined server, but he will have to start from the pit lane. Shouldn't be a huge deal. Again, all he had to do is start the race, but I don't know that we're going to get an early caution, although that would probably be ideal for the 28.
Yeah, already seemed like that was a rarity, and it seems like it just happened to Beckner, but we'll have to see if it continues throughout the night or if it can stabilize so he can complete all 160 laps.
Time to roll through our Roasted Gems Coffee starting grid, and on row 1, that's going to be the number 7 of James Scioli and the 67 of Cameron Hearn, Hunter.
In row 2, pair of playoff drivers, both fighting to get in. Chris Rabel going to start 3rd, Shane Therian 4th.
Starting 5th place, it's Greg Mitchell in the number 2. He's just trying to move his way up into the playoffs. Could use a win, but he doesn't need to do that. He starts P5. Justin Munsell starts 6th in the 20.
Row 4 going to be Seth Noel in the 93, starting 7th. And then starting 8th is Garrett Grant in the 5, another playoff driver.
9th place is Tommy Ryan in the number 99. And Malachi McGlashan in the number 74 starts in 10th.
Row 6, Travis Beckner starting 11th, but he'll have to come from the pits, and that's going to leave Jeff Ryan there in 12th.
In 13th place, it's going to be Colin Fambro, the number 18. And And Mike Tellier in the 47 starts 14th.
And row 8 going to be Bryce Senesac starting 15th, and 16th is Jacob Hudson.
17th place is Forrest Smith in the number 84. Paul Swerven Irvin starts 18th, but I don't see him on the racetrack, so he will not take the green flag. Steve Durham, 19th. Matthew Cochran also is not going to take the green flag. And of course, we mentioned Travis Beckner with those issues. He will start from the pit lane. 1 to green here. Quick look at our race analysis for tonight. It's 160 laps, about 114 and 0.75 miles. 20 drivers, which means that we're going to get a lot of green flag racing tonight. Hunter, picks early on. Who got winning this race?
I'm going to go ahead and say that Chris Rabel wins and gets it.
Wow. All right. Chris Rabel on your winner's docket. I'm going to go with the 67 of Cameron Hearn. I think he wins this race. Not a playoff competitor. In terms of the playoffs, though, I think Shane Therian is going to do it. I think he's going to get past Chris Rabel. We'll see how it pans out here as the field rolls through turns 3 and 4. 160 laps. This will take us about 1 hour of racing from flag to flag if we go green. And here we go. Green flag flies for the first time at Richmond. Lap 1 complete. Scioli leads the way. 1 car up in the wall. That was the 20 of Justin Munsell just scraping it there, Hunter. But lap 1 complete. And Shane Therian now down to the inside, or the outside rather, of Chris Rabel. This is a critical spot for the 29 to hold.
And Rabel trying to hold on to that 3rd spot, but got Shane Therian there trying to work that top in early. And Greg Mitchell just sitting there in 5th watching the action unfold.
Therian on the outside. See what the outside versus inside grooves get us tonight in terms of multi-groove racing. We didn't see it maybe quite as much on Monday as perhaps we expected. But Rabel's hanging tough on the bottom for now, and Greg Mitchell watching and waiting in the wings here, willing to take advantage. If Chris Rabel has a bad night, it's going to be free real estate between Therian, Mitchell, the 5 of Garrett Grant. They'll all be fighting for that last spot, and they're all only a couple points apart.
Yeah, don't use your tires up too early, though. We've seen that Monday night where you have those that come and go, and just all about tire management here. Going to be a long race, green flag, probably from start to finish, unless we get miraculous caution.
Oh, spin, the 84, Forrest Smith down on the apron, and caution out.
Well, forget everything I just said.
Oh, man, all right. Caution out.
Yeah, the announcer's curse is real.
It really is real, but I mean, let's be honest. I think everyone came into the night expecting it to go green or close to it, but Forrest Smith just throttles up a little bit too much out of 4 and grinds to a halt, gets some flat spots in the tires, and will catch back up to the rear of the field. But I was going to say, bouncing off of what you were stating, was you have to kind of come in with your strategy being pretty set for those long green flag runs. Even though we've got a caution, I don't think that we're going to see a lot more of them. So you have to come in knowing that you need to save tire, Hunter, and maybe knowing it is helpful, but I think for some drivers it's hard to break old habits, and we'll see what the pit stop strategy looks like tonight.
Well, it looks like Scioli's going to possibly come down pit road, or is he just going to try and fake someone out?
I think he's just down there just to experiment. But no one in their right minds would come down after about 4 laps of green flag, so around we will go.
Well, unless you're in the back. And speaking of which, that caution was huge for Travis Beckner.
Yeah, huge news for him. Remember, he started the pits with that internet continuity issue and was able to catch back up to the field, and he'll come down and get some fresh tires put on the car. I guess if you're at the rear of the field, why not? You know that this race is going to go green for a while. Might as well use up some of those tire sets you're otherwise not going to get a chance to get.
Very true. Very true. And might have just been a splash and go there for Beckner. Pretty quick in that pit stop.
I know Beckner is essentially locked, but we all know he's going to go for the win. Why not?
Yeah, this could turn into a fuel mileage race, and that little bit might add up in the very end.
We had a chance to watch the 84 spin on the SimWrap Market replay. Fans, be sure to check out simwrapmarket.com for custom iRacing paint scheme templates that are simple to use and help you stay more focused on the racetrack. And again, I checked out SimWrap Market a couple weeks ago looking for some LMP2 liveries. and they had all sorts of stuff on there. And it was a really nice, clean, pretty-looking website. Really great-looking presentation of the liveries. And I know there's other places you can get iRacing based paint schemes, but as far as having it put together, Simrat Market really does a nice job.
Yeah, there are some pretty good templates out there I've seen across Twitter from the Simrat Market Twitter account where they'll tweet out, hey, new template available, or look at this template. There are some pretty cool looking schemes out there.
Represented by Shane Therian tonight on the Simrat Market car. A few others spread throughout the field on any given night in the area series. And there's the 1 to green lights off on the pace car. Means we'll be resuming racing at lap number 10. Scioli went out to an early lead on that initial run. But again, still too early to really know where the long-term pace of anybody is.
And looking back at the season 1 recap of Richmond, there was a caution fest with essentially the same car count, if not a little less tonight. Had 3 leaders, 10 lead changes, 9 yellows for 45 laps. We've already got 1 early. Haven't even crossed lap 10 yet.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I have a hunch that this will end up being very different from that race, but we'll see. Scioli on the bottom. He's got Shane Therian behind him, Greg Mitchell behind that. Field rolls out at turn number 4. And back underway after an early spin for the 84 Forrest Smith. Green flag at Richmond. Big dive from the 5 of Garrett Granted to turn 3 on Colin Fambro. And look at this scrap. The 29 of Rabel going backwards. Greg Mitchell takes advantage. And behind him, the 93 is Seth Noel, and the 99 of Tommy Ryan are door to door.
Seth Noel still in his throwback scheme from Darlington. Now going to try and cross low on the 99. Rabel finding back on the outside, though, not letting that 2 of Mitchell take the position away. Not giving up just yet.
Yeah, he's been fighting pretty hard, but it does worry me that he's been on defense so much in such a short amount of time. Maybe he's got the long game that he's going to play tonight, but so far dropped a couple positions. Big throttle up on the outside of turn 2, though, and he might out-drag Greg Mitchell into turn 3.
He's still got a nose there, Mitchell does, going into the corner. Interested in seeing how many more drivers are going to use that outside. As we see Rabel continue to use it lap after lap. Got him cleared now, but can't come down just yet.
Shane Therian up to second place, 2.5 tenths behind James Scioli. If Therian wins, not much else this 29 could do. So if he can't win this race, Chris Rabel, he's going to have to try real hard to be second.
Without a doubt, you got to do whatever you can do. And even if that means side swiping, bumping, moving the guy out of the way, you got to do what you got to do, then by all means do it.
And it feels like Rabel has had a pretty quiet season. And that's mostly true. He's had a second, that came back in Atlanta, a third at Darlington. But for the most part, he's been logging 5ths, 8ths, 9ths, 10ths, that sort of thing. And that got him all the way here. But the problem is you get here and you start needing those wins. And they just have not come to him this season in that 29 car, Hunter. So his consistency has gotten him here, but you need to be a little bit more than consistent to make it to the final round of the playoffs.
Consistency can only get you so far, and you know, the run that Newman had in 2014 is a run unlike any that we'll ever see, because at the very end you do need wins where it matters the most, or unless your name's Matt Crafton, and I guess you can win the championship without winning the race.
Good battle behind them as well between the 93 and 99. And yet to dispose of it, and then the 27 of Beckner is up to 9th place, past Garrett Grant. And now going to be poking his nose into this battle, the 5 cars fighting for 4th. Colin Fambro just on the tail end of that.
Ever so slightly closing in with the fresher, well, not fresher tires. Had a little contact there between Seth Noel, Tommy Ryan, and the 99. Both of Ryan brothers in the field. Rabel took the spot away from Mitchell, cleared him there. Seth Noel now all over the bumper of Mitchell.
I wonder if Tommy Ryan feels a little bit slighted by that contact. He kind of got shuffled up the racetrack. We'll see if he will let that go or whether or not he wants to give a little payback bump. But right now it seems like he's content, dropping into 7th as Seth Noel now focuses his efforts on the 2 of Mitchell.
Yeah, Ryan just enjoying the view, running in the 7th spot. Doesn't have to do too much yet. and single file throughout most of the field.
Yeah, and there is a little bit of a battle happening in the background. Jeff Ryan and Malachi McGlashan in that 74. Seen him a couple times this season in that Ford Mustang. Good run here out of turn 2. And Jeff Ryan goes up the racetrack. That will allow Malachi to tuck underneath him and go by for second place. Cameron Hearn sneaks by Shane Therian, and he might actually have something to say about the lead here. We'll keep an eye on the lap times.
Indeed, 6 car lengths separating him and Scioli. Cameron Hearn was actually the winner here from Richmond back in season 1, so looking to defend that crown here for the Lodgebox series. And again, we'll keep a track on the lap times there. And Scioli was a little quicker that time by, a little further back. Colin Fambro and Tommy Ryan going at it for 7th. Ryan under attack from Fambro, and then Beckner lurking in the back.
18 to the bottom. And big dive into 3. He was sideways going down there and corrected. Almost got up into the 99. And Tommy Ryan is very quickly having one of those nights where it's sometimes you're the bat, sometimes you're the ball. And got 4 seams and a little bit of Mississippi clay on him, looks like.
That or it's rosin.
That too. Ooh, another big send there by the 18 into 3, and Beckner is just sizing all of them up, and might grab all 4 of these spots here pretty shortly. We know Beckner's quick, and he's already essentially locked in, so he can have some fun with this tonight.
He can have a little fun. None of these guys have any playoff implications. They're racing with ease. And Garrett Grant's falling outside the top 10, lost that 10th spot to Bryce Senesac.
Great little scrap here behind Colin Fambro and bringing Seth Noel up the racetrack, the 99 back into it. Great racing here, only 20 laps in. But this race goes by quick, so you have to fight while you've got the opportunity to.
And don't use up your tires too much, because then that'll affect you on the long run. There's the 99 getting a little loose there, close to the 93 of Noel, and Beckner trying to find somewhere to go to get around these guys.
Hey, he's going to go to the high side, looks like, on the 99, up to driver's right, and big dive into 3 on the outside of the door of the Ryan machine.
Look at the hands there.
Oh, I thought Tommy was going to try to squeeze him up into the wall or squeeze up in front of him, but didn't quite fit.
Yeah, he's trying something. That left the lane open for Beckner. Going to be door to door going into 1.
Seth Noel has it all in the rear view right now. Dead even out of 2. The 2 Camaros drag racing into 3. That time Noel got in there a little bit better. There's some contact to the back of Noel, but that's maybe that payback. Another big hit there out of 4. Maybe a brake check from the 93.
We are on the short track, so it wouldn't surprise me if we've had tempers flaring already just a little bit. Haven't even crossed the quarter mark yet, but Noel feeling the pressure from Ryan, and Ryan going to get loose and lose that spot to Beckner.
I want to go back and look at that again out of turn 4 to see if maybe that was what transpired, but here it is down into 3. 99 kind of rolls off the brake, gets into the back of 93, and right here, yeah, I think there was a little touch of the brake there just to kind of draw some more contact, and it definitely seems to have hurt the 99 more looking at the front bumper of that car. It's definitely pretty angled up.
Speaking of angled up, just a little dual update for you. Kyle Busch just got dumped by...
Nice.
Happened to look up and saw that.
Well, I appreciate you filling me in because I can't watch it, so thank you. not the update I was looking for, but
yeah.
That's how it be sometimes.
But update that most of you guys are looking for. Hearn has closed in the gap on Scioli. Went from around 7 car lengths down to about 3. He's closing in more and more on that bumper as we get longer into this run.
Forrest Smith is slow and down on pit lane. I think that is unscheduled stop, but you mentioned the leader. Scioli getting run down by Cameron Hearn. We have seen this battle so many times in so many series at this point. The 7 and the 67.
Man, dude, they've had great battles, and man, imagine if Hearn was still in the postseason. Man, this could have been a great battle, but nonetheless, still looking for wins, and he's so close to it. Getting close to that bumper. Doesn't quite have enough to get around him or alongside of him just yet, but within the next handful of laps or so, it seems like he'll get to that quarter panel and make a move.
And remember, he is winless on the season, and he is hungrier than a lot of drivers. I mean, he has been so close so many times. Some contact down there in 1 and 2, and finished second at Pocono, third at Bristol, second at Rockingham, but had a 23rd, a 33rd, another three 23rd. 3 23rds, a 32nd, and a 33rd in your season is going to hurt you significantly. But he has also had some really good top 5, top 2 results. He's always run a lot better than he has finished. That's been true in basically everything.
Now, Monday night we saw a winless streak come to an end with Ryan Hart finally getting the job done. Maybe we go 2 for 3 or 3 for 3?
Could be.
Maybe we can close another one with Hearn.
Forrest Smith has retired that 84. Here's Garrett Grant on the back of Munsell, rooting him up out of the groove. It wasn't very effective, though. He'll stay in behind. And Grant's in probably desperation mode right now because everyone's gotten into a rhythm, and he is a long way from looking like he'll move on to the playoff. Big slide there.
Huge slide there. He's going to lose a spot to McGlashan.
A long way from making it into the playoffs, and moments like this are not going to help.
Yeah, it just got a little longer for him.
He might have gotten some contact.
Yeah. Would imagine that he is not too happy over the radio.
We will drop in behind Malachi as for 7th place, Seth Noel and Travis Beckner. These are two guys that are always willing to play hardball with you on the racetrack, with the fenders, with the bumpers, slide jobs and things. This could be an entertaining battle to watch. Yeah,
the rear of the 93 has already been caved in.
That looks more caved in than it was. We saw it after the 99 got into it. Or maybe that was how it was. But that's a pretty sizable chunk of damage for Noel.
Yeah, pretty massive dent there. Don't know how that's going to affect the car aerodynamically, but we'll have to see as the run continues.
I don't think it'll be a huge effect on the aerodynamics, but you can't help, especially if you damage something that you need to repair in pit lane. That could cause you some strife, but that's just looking for race wins, not a playoff contender. Beckner, though, is a playoff contender, and while he doesn't need a win tonight, I'm sure he'd like to add to the resume. And Beckner's season, of course, highlighted by the win that he had back at Talladega. He's in the wall out of 2. And Beckner was second last week at Auto Club as well. Opening up the door to the inside at turn 1. And by the way, Scioli has driven away from Cameron Hearn again, and the gap is back up to about 0.6 of a second. So while Hearn was faster, it was just short-lived.
Back to where we started, and Hudson's made his way down pit road as well. Not sure if he's going to pit or call it quits.
Looks like he's in his stall, and Jack's going up. I don't quite get this because I think you can one-stop this. But we'll see what the strategy becomes. Bryce Senesac and Justin Munsell trading spots for 11th, or 10th rather. Mike Tellier into the mix. Remember, he had his issues in qualifying and started in 14th. He's up 2 spots.
Yeah, Tellier needing the big points tonight for not only himself, but for the team at Sky Motorsports as well. Got Therian up there running in 3rd, but if they want to stabilize their points gap or stabilize their position, you're going to have to run a little closer to the front.
Chris Rabel got back by Greg Mitchell a while ago and still remains in 4th. Remember, he started this race 3rd. And Therian's right ahead of him. And I think what did they come in? Just 2 points separate? It was pretty close. 2 points to Elwood and also to Therian.
Yep.
So right now, I think they're 1 point separate. Too close for comfort, that's for sure.
Way too close for comfort.
Especially because either Rabel or Therian could lead a lap in a pit stop sequence and totally change the tiebreaker scenario, which would go wins first, then top 5s, then top 10s. And
yeah, even in a tiebreaker, that would hurt Rabel.
Right, because Therian has that win that happened all the way back at Daytona. In a long time.
Every win matters.
Every win matters, and it was a long time ago. That was all the way back. When did we start off the season? That was all the way back on
November, probably.
October 6th.
Or October. Woo.
That's a long time. I don't think you need to tell Shane that. I'm sure he feels it.
Back when the weather was warm.
Yeah. It's almost getting warm again. It's the entire winter, plus some. Beckner back on Seth Noel. This one never really had a conclusion.
Just add another chapter.
Yes. Chapter 2.
Well, with these two, it might be 4 or 5.
Night's still young. But again, with how quick this is going to go, our laps are just ticking away right now. 22 seconds a lap, 23 seconds a lap. 45 minutes is all between us and the checkered flag. And for Travis Beckner, that's go time.
Go time indeed. Still not letting Noel go just yet.
He's leaving tire marks at the exit of turn 4. It's big skids for the 27, driving into slide. And this car kind of suits his driving style. We saw that play into what we saw at Auto Club Speedway, where he was just slipping and sliding all over the place, but he was making speed with it. In other cars and other categories, it doesn't really seem to be very effective. But the Xfinity car, you can really lean on it, and it'll allow you to drive it into slide and still make some ground, provided you don't completely overheat the tires.
Yeah, that's typically something you see coming to the checkered flag of this race. You'll see drivers just winging it out, coming out of turn 4, dirt tracking it almost, kind of like what we saw with Beckner. But don't want to be doing it this early on in the race. Oh, whoa, whoa, big lose there for Noel. Still trying to keep that thing straight. Oh, my goodness.
That was a slide. Oh, he's in another slide. He's going to slide through 1 and 2. Formula drift for Seth Noel. Gathers it up. What a slide.
He's having a little too much fun there. There is something amiss with that 93.
Oh, he's going to do it again down here in 3 and 4.
I don't know if the car is just that loose or if he's just trying to add a little excitement to this, but it might cause a caution.
Hearn hit pit lane. I don't know if he was anticipating a yellow or what, but what just happened? I mean,
That's a very good question.
This is wild stuff.
This started, he did this for a whole lap.
I mean, I know these cars can do some slides, but I'm comfortable with them, but even I wouldn't do this in a race because of the risk that's associated with it. But Seth just drove it down there and on both ends of the track just put on a show, but it didn't gain him a whole lot of spots. It lost him a handful.
I mean, whatever floats your boat. Yeah, he was running up front, and now he's all the way back in 9th.
I know some people in the drift world that would sign him up right now.
Tyler Holman would get a kick out of that.
So working lap 52. So Cameron Hearn hit pit lane. I'm surprised that he did so. Jeff Ryan coming out of the box now. And this is their window to the end. Sure. So maybe he's just going to not pit from here on out. But I would have maybe tried to split the tires a little bit more evenly. We're seeing a lot more fall off in this race than we did the other night. This is now about 1.3 seconds with 53 laps into this run.
Yeah, major improvement from a year ago or 2 seasons ago for Skyley. Back in season 1, finished 19th, the lowest out of all the playoff drivers in the field heading into tonight's event. But he's done a massive job of improving from that.
Well, he can't finish 19th tonight. So there's that.
No.
Only 18 on the board at this stage. Here's Tommy Ryan and the 96 of Jacob Hudson, who is 2 laps down. And Cameron Hearn just ran a full second faster than Skyly, so he's going to have the lead. And depending on how early he jumped the gun here, Cameron Hearn will have a big lead, but then he'll be forced to play defense when Scioli, Therian, and others come to pit lane.
Yeah, interesting noting when these drivers will come down pit road, because like you mentioned, Hearn pitted, it seemed like earlier than expected.
Yeah, lap 50, that's 110 to go, and again, I think that's their window to the end, so he should be good, but just from a tire saving perspective, he's going to be out of tire at the end of this race.
Further back, here's Tommy Ryan and Justin Munsell, the Shrek machine going low on the 99 for 7th.
Fighting over some swampy track real estate here. You know, this complex, that Richmond Raceway was built on, was nicknamed Strawberry Hill as this 93 goes around and brings out our second caution of the night, and that is absolutely not what Cameron Hearn wanted to see.
Probably what Hudson wanted to see was a lap down. Multiple laps down, actually. He is still, I don't know what he's doing. Unless his car is just that loose, or he's just trying to have a little fun, but run out of yellow.
No.
Oh, no. Well.
Oh, well, maybe. Yep. Contact from the 47 sends him around, and good dodge there by Malachi McGlashan. That was an interesting exchange, huh?
Indeed. So that was the second caution we've seen, and yeah, they all just kind of accordion there and get bunched up. Second caution we've seen where it's essentially a half spin, but it's enough to trigger a caution.
All right, so this is pit stop. This is going to be end all doubts of strategy and fuel mileage and things. Cameron Hearn's going to stay out, take the waiver or the free pass here. And now Hearn's going to have a deficit to everyone else, which he was going to have anyway, but he's also going to have a track position deficit. So now Cameron Hearn would just like to get some pressure tires and just drive through the field, which is not the strategy he was going to employ prior.
No, this does not help him at all. Unless he's, I think you'd have to stay out at this rate. Already made your bed,
yeah,
got a lie in it.
If you have another caution, I think you come on down, but then so would everybody else. So you're kind of in that rock and a hard place now. As the 18 rolls, Colin Fambro up to, looks like, 5th spot. But Scioli will lead the way. But the benefit for Hearn is that there's not a lot of drivers on the lead lap, so he's not going to drop that far. And if he could get another caution, maybe in 5, 6, 7 laps, get some tires and then have an advantage to take down Scioli with, he'd be in pretty good shape. But certainly the strategy he was trying to play is not going to be very effective at this stage.
No, not at all. And looking at it, we're about to cross the 100 lap to go mark. Only got one DNF, and that's Forrest Smith.
You're watching the Area Lodgebox Series playoff round 4 of 5 from Richmond Raceway. I'm Kyle Heyer, joined by Hunter Sleppy. Fans, be sure to check out rickshotsauce.com for some of the best hot sauces made locally in South Florida. Be sure to follow the Rick's Hot Sauce Rookie of the Year battle in the Area Cup Series and see who will take home the $100 prize as the highest finishing rookie in the point standings. 60 laps complete. Yeah, there's some cash on the horizon there. 60 laps complete of 160. That means we have 100 laps to go. 2 cautions so far. Here's a look at the race recap, Hunter, and it's mostly been Scioli out front. And when I say mostly, I mean it has been entirely Scioli out front.
Yeah, it sure has been. The 2 yellows we've had, interesting to note. Both half spins, and one was actually below the apron there on the front stretch with Forrest Smith. Kind of interesting in noticing how that's a caution here. I guess that's because this is a shorter track, but on the other tracks, it's not a yellow.
Yeah, I think the apron is defined as a different surface at a couple tracks in particular. But at some of the short tracks, I think it's included. New Hampshire, it's included. Just because of its proximity to the racing surface, but at places like Atlanta, Texas, Daytona, if you go below that yellow line, you're kind of got plenty of space to skid out of the way, and you're not going to bounce off of something and head back into traffic. I think that's the reasoning, but I could be wrong about that. Looks like a wave around for Steve Durham in the 1, and everyone else is going to re-rack, restack, and go for the next 98 laps on this restart.
That helps out Durham a lot. He'll move up a couple more spots because of that.
Cameron Hearn will restart 11th. He was running 2nd prior to his early pit stop in anticipation of the race going green to the end. And of course, as soon as he made that stop, around went the 93. 3 laps down as the 93 Seth Noel looks like he's done for the night. And he was given the EOL for that caution, by the way, so we'll go from there. 98 laps to go from Richmond. Scioli in command, as he has been for the first 62 laps. Green flag back in the air here. Oh, spin out of turn 2, the 74, Malachi McGlashan. And cautions back out.
Back like we never left.
Yep, and I think Cameron Hearn will take that opportunity to hit pit lane and get some tires now. But that was off the nose of the 99. Dives in front of the 67. No, I don't think so. We're just 3 wide, and it got tight there out of turn 2. All right. With that,
well, that's that.
Yeah, we just had a caution, though, so we'll step away. No pit stops to cover. We'll be back in a moment for the restart. Back live for the area Lodgebox series from Richmond Raceway, the penultimate race of the season and the race where we eliminate 4 of our 8 playoff competitors. Coming into the night, this was your point standing scenario. John Furness locked in. He's absent tonight. Scioli leads the way. He's also locked in. Travis Beckner, Chris Rabel. Those 2 drivers still could not get knocked out, but really it's just Rabel on the chopping block. Therian, Grant, and Mitchell all trying to eclipse Rabel tonight and work their way in. Alan Elwood, of course, celebrating the birth of a new child, is not here. He will drop out of the playoffs, but Hunter so far has been pretty racy, but Chris Rabel is struggling to keep Shane Therian behind him. He came out of the pit lane in second, so he's in good shape for now, but Therian has looked fast and is going to keep Rabel on his toes all night long.
Yeah, it always seems like those that are towards the back of the standings always seem to run up towards the front when the race where it matters the most, the cutoff race. As you mentioned, Rabel's second. Got ahead of Therian after that set of pit stops. Good for him. Also mentioned a caution was good for Garrett Graham because he was losing. He went all the way down to 14th, and he's currently in 8th right now. So maybe this caution will help him reset and refocus for the next half of the race.
And we are quickly approaching that halfway mark at lap number 80, about 13 laps from now. And in terms of the manufacturers running and driving, Chevy, Ford, Chevy, Toyota, Ford, your top 5, then Toyota, Chevy, Ford, Chevy, the rest of the top 10. Pretty good manufacturer diversity at the front end of the field. But Scioli's Chevy has been in the lead of every lap so far. Chris Rabel would love to snag a lead lap here and just get that extra point and punt him ahead of Shane Therian by 1 more.
Oh, without a doubt. And if he gets ahead of Scioli, gets that win,
he'd love the
confidence
win.
Booster.
That would solve all the problems for any one of those that are in the bottom 4 of the playoffs. 1 to green, though. Lights are out of the pace car. And we'll go back green next time by. And you picked the 29 to win the race.
Indeed. If you're in that deep of a hole, you got to win to get in. Especially with how fast the 38's been. Might as well.
I picked the 67. Off strategy a little bit because of that ill-timed caution flag, but he restarts in 11th. Green flag back in the air here from Richmond. Cameron Hearn did not come to pit lane, by the way. Or he did right after he got the free pass, because you can service and get a pit lane stop on a free pass. So he is on the same strategy as everybody else now, same tires. Garrett Grant, big dive up the inside at turn 1. Up alongside the 20 of Munsell.
Yeah, that got Munsell up loose. Now he's still there. Oh, looking behind Hearn, still moving and grooving.
Bobbing and weaving. Owed some spots after that caution flag. He had pit early to hopefully cycle to the front on strategy. as Shane Therian has a big look at Rabel in turn 1.
Move for position. Rabel, Therian. These are the two we're going to have to keep an eye on all night long. Going at it for third. And speaking of which, up in front of them, how did Colin Fambro get into second?
Yeah, he just kind of snuck out of nowhere there, past both of them. But Rabel is now stuck behind the 18 as the 38 dives up the inside, and this is a critical pass. If Therian gets by the 18 and the 29, then he's going to be the one that transfers if all things stay like that to the end of the race. We know they won't. There's still a long way to go.
Long way to go. Short time to get there. Whoa, whoa, they're still wiggling. Oh, Mitchell down low. That could have been really bad. Almost got into the barrels there.
Gathered it up, and he's going to lose some spots. It just got real tight and condensed out of turn 4 as everybody was fighting for positions. There's Cameron Hearn on the outside, trapped in behind Beckner, and now the 2 stricken from that incident out of turn 4 half a lap ago.
Woo.
This restart's been pretty wild, huh? They turned up the wick.
Oh, yeah, getting closer and closer to the end. Very close to the halfway mark.
67, Hearn sideways.
Gonna drift it and save it. Wow.
Another big slide. We saw that with the 93 earlier. Malachi McGlashan having a look at Steve Durham down here into turn 3. Is it a full moon now or something, and it wasn't 25 minutes ago?
It might be.
I don't know that's
the way they're driving.
I don't know if that's how the night sky works at all, but it's the only thing I can explain. It's just like they turned up the heat. They're going for it now. Therian back to second place and tracking down James Scioli. Therian does not need to win this race. What he's doing right now would not quite be sufficient because Rabel has gotten by the 18, but he just needs one more spotter for the 29 to drop one more spot. And Garrett Grant has moved his way forward a little bit. Still the lowest running of the playoff competitors, but inching closer to being in that fight directly.
Looking through. Looks like that was Durham looking low in the back, but Garrett Grant's kind of settled in here to ninth, but he's got a mass amount of cars there looking to get around him.
Durham is on the lead lap again after getting the free pass a couple of cautions ago. Malachi McGlashan is back there as well. Jeff Ryan is a lap down, so is Jacob Hudson. But just 2 of the 16 runners on the racetrack are not on the lead lap. Here's Greg Mitchell trying to earn some spots back on the inside of the 20 of Munsell, and Hearn with a big run to the outside.
Whoa, that was almost close there from Mitchell.
He turned him.
That he's going to turn him.
Contact, and the 20 slams the wall. Caution.
Wow. I was going to say, it looked very close there heading into the turn, and Mitchell sent it on the 20 of Munsell and got him loose, and then he hit him in the front to send him outside.
And that backfired on the 2 car a little bit. I don't think he meant to get down there that deep because he ended up getting damage out of this. Right there. I don't think he meant to do that, and then there's the contact with the right front, and then pow into the outside wall. Just had a view of the camera shot there, but
a little too hot there from the 2, and then look out, Shrek!
Oh. Well, Shrek needs car insurance. I think he's got a recommendation served up to him on a silver platter there.
I don't even think he's got swamp insurance.
Prone to flooding.
Very. And here we go. Speaking of flooding, the cars are flooding in the pit road.
And a little bit surprised by this, maybe, but we're on about 15, 20 laps. Maybe I shouldn't be. The whole field on down, I think. We get another opportunity for Cameron Hearn to make up a couple spots. Maybe a 2-tire call? Anybody do that? Nope,
Don't look like it. Seems like everyone's doing 4.
I think that would be prime opportunity for a 2-tire call, but looks like nobody will do that. And Greg Mitchell, you see him on pit lane repairing some damage, and there is quite a bit to the right front of that car. I don't think it's going to be completely catastrophic, but if that car goes a lap down or 2, it's going to be, well, you see that fender getting pulled out now. Not quite night over, but certainly didn't help him.
No, that did not help him at all. It's going to put him in a bigger hole than entering tonight.
So we're past halfway. Again, another reminder of the point scenario that we were dealing with. Consider Elwood out. We're just looking at Therian, Grant, Mitchell, and Rabel. And Therian at present is just 1 point back from Rabel now because he's 1 spot ahead of him on the racetrack. Neither have led a lap nor got the pole. We don't have to factor those things in yet. And Garrett Grant would need to outperform Therian by 5 spots and Rabel by 9. Nope, just by 7. I was adding duplicative math in my head. I think Greg Mitchell is going to need to not have what had just happened happen again, for lack of a better term.
Yeah. Still another half of the race to go. Anything can happen. Could see all these. You could see the top 5 wreck and then end up Cameron Hearn leading it.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, again, that you bring that in. I mean, Shane Therian's up there. I mean, I don't think he's in desperation mode yet, but Rabel or I guess you could throw Garrett Grant into that mix if they get desperate. They only have 75-ish laps left to decide if they're going to go to Nashville and have a shot at a championship. Once you get to Nashville with a shot at the championship, anything can happen. We have no idea how that's going to play out next week, but the only thing you know for sure is that if you're in the top 4 of the points at the end of the night, you're at least going to have a chance.
And sometimes that's all you need is just a chance.
Lights are out on the pace car. Next time by, will be going back to green, and it's going to go by quick. So you got to make moves. This is going to, I mean, it's going to go by quick unless we keep getting wrecks, which we could get because the intensity level is going to keep ratcheting up.
Yeah, I mean, it only goes up from here, and especially if you're Therian and Rabel. Imagine how high that's going to be, knowing that the driver you're going against might have to win, get in, and that you got to do everything you can to prevent that from happening.
Packed up, paired up. Down to 16 runners, 1 a lap down. It's Justin Munsell with some damage. He's back rolling, and so is the field. Green flag back underway at Richmond. Rabel clears for second. Therian might lose 3rd place to Travis Beckner.
Beckner looking low. Going to take that position away from Therian. Not what he needed, exactly what Rabel needed.
Spin, 47.
Oh, loose. That's going to be another one.
If he can keep it straight, we'll be all right. And he does. Tellier back on the racetrack, 15th.
Keeping her green.
Everyone's just on edge right now, just trying to find a little bit of grip to get some passes done before things settle in for the long run. Scioli is just dominating this one right now. 6 wins on the season and going for a 7th. Chris Rabel looking for his 1st win. Beckner looking for his 2nd. And Therian would love to grab a win tonight and with no questions move on to Nashville.
Without a doubt, that puts everything to bed, puts all the stress, at least temporarily, to bed if you can get the win. Imagine how much it would mean for Rabel to get a win.
So much. I mean, battling week in, week out. Consistency, as we mentioned, that's what got him here. It's just consistency won't win you a championship, not with this format. It'll get you close. And I guess the question after tonight is, will it get you in the championship?
Close, but no cigar. We'll have to see. Still got coming to 70 laps to go. Well, 71 this time by.
Kylie's not driving away. Rabel was a little quicker last time. That time it was only 1,000th quicker, but quicker nonetheless. And some damage to the rear of that 7. I didn't pick up exactly where he got that.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm not sure how he got that either. If he's been out front all day.
They've been under caution on restart coming to pit lane. Here's Cameron Hearn and Colin Famro. This is for 5th. And move the 67 back up another spot.
continuing to drive his way through, now inside the top 5. Paying off so far for the 67. How will it handle on the long run?
Laps clicking away here. And again, every time I've mentioned how short this race is, it's just because you look up at the time remaining, the estimated time, and it tells me 26 minutes, and it's just not a lot of time to get the job done here, especially if you're not where you want to be. Rabel's where exactly where he wants to be. He's in control of his destiny at the moment. As long as he stays behind Scioli and Scioli wins this race, Rabel is going to fight for a championship at Nashville. As soon as he gets passed by Therian or Grant or Mitchell, it's going to change things quite a bit.
Yeah, look at all these guys all running close. You got the top 5 here all within a second of each other. Throw a blanket on all these guys.
Bryce Zenisek, I think he's trying to set up a pass here on the 99. Eric Grant scraping the wall, and one car high and slow. It's the 96. Jacob Hudson giving a spot back, and Cameron Hearn got by Shane Therian so quickly we couldn't catch it. He just drove right through him.
He is indeed zooming through the field. Now he's got Beckner in his sights.
Yeah, Cameron Hearn is on a mission right now. He's the quickest car on the racetrack. And we'll just hope he's not burning up his tires, because these are, unless we get a caution, these will be the tires you take to the checkers, and you're going to want to make sure that you keep them in for the long run. We know Scioli is going to be saving. But you don't have to save them.
The 29 is doing that as well.
Yeah, you don't have to save these to the extent that you do with the next-gen cars. So the next-gen cars, you can afford to actually drop positions to save tires, and you'll gain all those spots back. But the, I call it the comer and goer effect, is not as strong with these cars. So we'll see how that pans out, but I think you can actually save tires a little more effectively in these cars without losing positions, which Scioli is doing right now.
Over time, we'll see if that pays off for him. Meanwhile, Beckner applying pressure to the 29 of Rabel, because he's getting pressure now from Cameron Hearn.
Push on the bottom, it pushes on the top, and Cameron Hearn is pushing from the bottom right now. His progress has slowed a little bit. Still was one of the fastest cars on the track last time by, but now he's got the 27 directly in view and can't drive through him. You got to drive around him, and that's going to force him to look somewhere else. We have not seen the outside lane be very good, Hunter. It's been pretty bottom feeding tonight, and that has been the biggest struggle for drivers once they get into these green flag runs. It's just finding out how to pass if you can't use the bottom.
I mean, you could drive through him and just would upset the driver and then put a target on your back.
Caveat there. And maybe I'm not the one to poke the bear on Travis Beckner.
I wouldn't be.
He'll race you the way that you race him, and with a smile on his face. Well, you pushed me. Why is it fair if you can do it and I can't?
I'm not sure how long that smile would last. It'd be very temporary there. Closing.
Thought about it. Here he goes.
I'm here.
Good run out of 4. But not using the overlap. Now he's going to dive up into turn 1. Pretty late move to the inside there. That was very dicey between those two.
Chris Rabel's asking for more, because this would separate him and Beckner quite a bit. He would focus his attention more on Scioli, as you see there towards the bottom, but now in the back, Hudson's come out of pit road. Now the first car 1 lap down.
And one of only 2 cars 1 lap down. Justin Munsell going to take some momentum, almost might get around him here. And I think it's game on between the 27 and 67 now. They are just dancing with each other on corner entry and exit. Now Munsell is the free pass driver as Hudson drops behind them.
I'll say Hudson actually did not, but he just pulled out to the side. Just coincidence that was on the exit of pit road there on turn 2. And now Hearn's going to look to the outside. Beckner going to look low. Might try to get a pass here on Chris Rabel. So Rabel all of a sudden now having to play defense. Here comes Hearn. Might make it 3 wide down the back. Heading into 3. He's not going to lift.
Oh boy, the 27's going to get turned off the nose. The 29 gets away with it. Caution flies as the 27 straightens back out.
You saw that coming from a mile away. It was just a matter of time.
And caution with 55 laps to go. Oh boy. And I'm not going to cut away just yet.
Beckner's already locked in to the next round, have the plus 18-point cushion heading into tonight, but obviously a little frustrated at that. You see a replay here. Doesn't show it right here, but ooh, that really saved Chris Rabel, his high entry going into the corner, because if not, he definitely would have been a part of this, and then Hearn would have had 2 targets on his back.
If you ever want to know the angle that iRacing throws a caution for, about that is what the caution will throw. I could have sworn we saw Seth Noel doing that earlier.
Oh, he was, but he, I guess he, I don't know. The whole thing is tricky. And speaking of tricky, we got pit stops here. Now, these can be a little tricky with differing strategies. Some drivers might keep it the same. Some might change it up. Never know. Skyley's going to win the race off pit road. Dead heat for second. I couldn't tell who.
So Munsell looked like, did he roll through or stay out or something? It scored fourth. We'll check in on that in a second. Scioli, Rabel, Hearn. Then it should be Travis Beckner. So they're going to restart next to each other for the restart. It is going to be very exciting to watch these two for the last 50, 60 laps of this race.
I'll say Munsell is the free pass car, so
yes.
Not sure if that has anything to do with it.
Yeah, he's in pit lane now, so he'll drop out of the order. So Scioli, Rabel, Hearn, Beckner, Therian. And Rabel is happy to be second. I don't think he's thrilled to have the 67 and 27 sparring so closely behind him. Almost got taken out in that from a minute ago and dodged it by an inch.
Well, I think the 67 might get the EOL for that incident, so that might drop him to the rear.
A racing deal.
And that could...
No, never mind. No EOL.
It could be a racing deal. No.
Yep,
oh, really?
Ruled that, so... I didn't just make
let
that.
him race.
I didn't just make that decision. It's a racing deal. Nope. That was race control ruled. I am very afraid to step out of bounds on stuff like that. So checkered flag is about 50 laps away from now. Fans, be sure to check out the area iRacing.shop for merchandise to represent your favorite driver. Shop from our selection of t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, stickers, and more. Use code SWAN for 10% off your order at checkout. That's SWANN. Save 10%. Area iRacing.shop. My last read for the night. You know what that means, Hunter? We're getting close to the checkered flag. And Scioli has led basically every lap. I think he's actually led every lap. 106, yep, indeed he has.
Yeah, that would be a bonus point for him, although, yeah, I'll make him what, plus 50, plus 60, an absurd number to the good. It's already locked in, but, you know, that win is still up for grabs, and Chris Rabel could have that win. But we're interested in looking at the second row, Hearn and Beckner, see if there's any retaliation from Beckner's side.
Well, here's what I would tell myself if I was Travis Beckner. I'm basically into the playoffs. The guy that just wrecked me is not in the playoffs. I shouldn't be involved in any kind of retaliation there, because it will hurt me a whole lot more than it will hurt him to play this game. We'll see how it pans out. 52 laps to go. Green flag back in the air from Richmond.
That is McGlashan exploring the outer groove of 1 and 2.
Oh, the 5 way up the racetrack. And he's going to loop it.
Oh, that might be a yellow.
And there it is.
Wow.
Yeah, he got into the corner really hot. I don't know if he had some help. Oh, he definitely did off the 18.
Not sure if he came low.
Oh, he was in there too hot already himself. mean,
They just adding insult to injury.
They both just miscalculated the heck out of this. Watch the 5. He's in there super deep to the point where he locks up the left front. And then the 18 also is in there really hot, but I think the 5 over slowed while locked. That's what kind of helped lead to that situation. And then right here, tags the quarter panel and then bump into the outside wall, and that's going to add some significant damage to Garrett Grant. His playoff hopes were already looking pretty slim, but even slimmer now.
And the admins have labeled that as a racing deal as well. But man, oh man, racking up the cautions, even with the car total being at 18. Quick look at the race recap. Got 50 to go, 49 when we cross the stripe. Only one leader. It's been James Scioli since the drop of the green flag, but had 6 cautions now. The most recent one coming out just a couple laps ago. And looking back at it, season 1 had 9 yellows for 45 laps. So I'm not sure. At the beginning of the night, I didn't think we'd ever reach that mark. I didn't think we'd reach 2, 3.
Yeah,
we're already up to 6.
I thought the same. I thought we'd just go green and we would go green all the way to the checkered, but that has not been the case tonight. We've had a little bit of drama here and there, adding some spice to the mix, and we're not done yet. A lot of laps, not a lot of racing though. When you look at the time remaining versus the laps remaining, quick laps, 3 laps a minute.
Not with the yellows coming out either. Not a lot of racing there if we keep having caution after caution.
They will, and actually Richmond cautions, last week at Auto Club, you know, those cautions are real short. Here at Richmond, they have an extra lap as opposed to the Auto Club ones, which are a lap shortened from normal. So what that means is that every time we get these yellows, you kind of chip away 5 laps automatically, and you're right, that's less time for Rabel to gain spots, or I guess in Scioli's case, less time that he has to hang on.
Well, interesting. Hearn will get a restart this time by. Should be 1 to go this time at the line, and it is, because Rabel did not get a good jump. He used the first car on the outside line. See if it's any different with Cameron Hearn there. Rabel going to restart in 3rd, but right on his outside is that 27 of Beckner.
Well, good news is he and the 67 are lined up on the top side, and Rabel's on the bottom, and you got a lot more control over the situations at a short track if you're on the bottom. That has been proven time and time again, that if you got to be a place, being the pusher is better than being the pushee. So winding things down here from Richmond Raceway, the Area Lodgebox Series playoffs. 4 drivers being eliminated as we're 3 wide, and Therian going forward into turn 1.
Therian not afraid to send it in, although it's going to get things a little bunched up between Fambro and Beckner. Not afraid to touch doors coming out of 2. Scioli driving away from the scene like nothing ever happened, but Therian trying to move up closer to get around that 29.
Oh, big understeer. The 27 gets
there
turned.
Goes the 27. Right in front of the rest of the pack, and there goes Tellier into him. Cautions out, and Hudson gets into it as well. So 7th yellow of the night, and I saw that one, Bruin, coming out of turn 2.
Yeah, the aggression level has just stepped up so high.
Beckner's got to be livid now. If he wasn't livid before, he's livid now. He is looking for Mr. Fambro.
Revving the engine, showing the displeasure there with the 18.
Yeah, can't hit him under yellow.
I'd say his argument is he can't hit me under green. But he got hit. Let's see it. Let's have a look. Someone was going to go around in this mess. 18 pushes up, gets the 27, turns him around, and then right here, nothing that Tellier could have done. And the 96 piled in there as well.
He kept his foot in it the whole way, but sure, that has to be a DOL for the 18.
It is.
Indeed, it is. Huh.
I was actually a little bit surprised that the prior one that he was involved with the 67, was the 67? Who was the other guy?
It was with Hearn.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised that wasn't an EOL, just because that was one of those borderline ones that I could have easily seen going the other way. So he will drop to the rear for this one.
Well, while we were under caution, once more. Would you like a update on the second duel?
I cheated. I looked at the timing and scoring. But, yeah, we'll leave it at that. So.
Well, the finish was interesting for that one.
I bet.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Todd Gillen almost won it. I mean, when there's a will, there's a way, and then almost getting dumped in front of the field on the last lap. That won't help at all.
Yep. I have my cat on the lap, who's been hanging out with me for the entire race. Apollo, the orange cat, has been lingering with me, and he's now crawling up onto his cat tree. But he usually hangs out on the lap for the broadcasts, and these are long nights for me. Thursdays a double head, so back to back, and used to have to lock him away because he would misbehave, but now he's investigating what's going on outside. Winter storm hitting Chicago this week, and we got kind of the icy front edge of it.
Well, don't know what that's like, at least not this winter. Nothing but rain.
Yeah, it's kind of slushy, icy, kind of weird. 1 to green. And Travis Beckner, by the way, even though he got hit pretty heavily, is back on the racetrack, and it doesn't appear that that damage will keep him from rolling along. Took it all to the side skirt mostly.
Now Rabel's back on the outside.
Yeah, Rabel, he's doing everything that he needs to do. If he could just cling on to second behind Scioli and finish out this race the next 40 laps like this, he is going to Nashville, and he knows it. Green flag at Richmond. 42 laps to go. '96 car way up the track, and Beckner is on a mission forward right now on the outside of the 18. And the 38 diving on Rabel.
I'll say, is it forward or is it just for the 18?
Either or.
Well, either way, it seems like the 18 is behind him, so
The safe place.
Shot.
Safe place for now.
Well, not a safe place for Rabel on the outside line. Lost the position there to Hearn. Looking to make up some ground now on Scioli. See if anyone can try and pass the 7. He's led every single lap. He could lead it all the way to the checkered.
It took Hearn, I don't know how many laps, 80 to get back to second place, and he's wide in turn 1. Rabel drives underneath him, and just like that, as quick as he was back in second, he's back to 4th.
And look who's in third now. It's
Spin out of turn 2.
27 and 18. They made contact without a doubt. No doubt in my mind. They were both loose at the same time. Gonna have to take another look at this one again, or it might have been chain reaction to what happened up in front.
Oh man, that was the 18 on the 27 again.
Second time in a row. I didn't know if that was checking up from the Garrett Grant machine, but
I mean, if there's one way to get on somebody's naughty list, that's how you do it. But now he's so far back, I don't know that he'll have much opportunity to receive impact from the 27. Nor, again, I don't think it's wise for the 27 to engage in this fight because he's already in. I wouldn't risk getting a penalty over something silly, even though you want, and are probably justified, as this is going to turn bad.
Silly. Oh, that was a little silly there from Grant to the 20. And look, Beckner's right back in it.
Oh, man.
Can't escape it.
I'm sure he would just like to quietly
here.
make it 35 laps is what Beckner would like. 35
I'm sure
quiet
all these
laps.
guys just want to make it. Look for Shrek to say hello to Mr. Grant here, going in the corner.
Up front, no changes.
Good thing we could keep an eye on this. Grant going wide there. Letting Munsell go. Now he's got Beckner looking low. That 5 car as wide as can be.
Jeff Ryan up to 9th place tonight, having a pretty solid run. Got Mike Tellier to the inside.
Yeah, both these drivers having solid top 10 runs tonight.
Justin Munsell, Beckner, and Garrett Grant just in tow. Fambro is running 23 4s, which is kind of co-requisite with those ahead of him, maybe a little bit quicker than some actually, so he might get back into this group before too long. Bryce Senesac feeling some pressure, this time from Tommy Ryan in that 99 car.
And Bryce has had a rough season, rough last few weeks, but solid 6th place for now. Tommy Ryan looking to say something else, trying to take that position away. But overall, solid night for the 09, and it's got Ryan still trying to look low.
And some more positions trading. The 47 down a bunch. The 27 up some, and I can't even tell what's going on right now. I just know that the 18's back in the mix. 47 out of control. Tellier.
Oh, he's coming back up. Nope. Gonna keep it straight. Got close there. Point. They're not afraid to duke it out here.
Shane Therian on the back of Rabel. This is a critical time. He needs to pass this 29 at some point. And if
Otherwise,
he can get Hearn to follow him,
might do it.
Right, but if Therian can get Hearn to follow him through the 29, then Therian's in. Here he goes.
Big loose there for the 29. He's going to look low. Hearn just watching this unfold in front of him. This is all for second. Very crucial between both these guys. Rabel entered +2. Shane Therian entered -2. Here comes Hearn looking to make it 3 wide. Remember the last time this happened, we had a caution.
This time we avoid it, but Hearn is Therian's ticket to Nashville. And Therian just needs to bring him with past the 29 car. And Rabel is struggling right now. He's running up a lane. I don't think he's comfortable on the bottom. He has less than 30 laps to make it to the end to move on to Nashville and have a shot at the championship. Meanwhile, Beckner wobbling and weaving down the back straightaway, moving back inside the top 10 up to 9th, past the 20 of Munsell, tight out of turn 4. That was dicey.
Oh, goodness. No, Munsell appreciated that, but nonetheless, going to let him go, and now Grant can have his eyes set on the 20, trying to take away that top 10 spot.
Therian back into turn 3, hot on the heels of Chris Rabel. And again, you're running out of laps.
Indeed, you are running out of laps. Don't count out Greg Mitchell, though. He's closing in on this little shindig for the 2nd spot.
Therian's in the best spot. He just needs to get past the 29 and have somebody else pass Rabel as well. And that could very well be Cameron Hearn. And it doesn't feel like that, that's not a lot to have happen. That's pretty easy for that to go south for the 29 really quickly. It would only take one corner, and the 38's in, the 29's out.
And looking back at it, Mitchell, he needs a win. So if he can get to at least 3rd and then hope for a yellow to come out, he might have a shot.
No one has been even close to Scioli today, but maybe if they nail the restart in a green-white checker scenario, they might be able to hang on to it. Therian's big dive into 1, but he's controlling it.
So close to that bumper. Man.
Love watching this rear shot because you can see the lunge into the corner.
So you gotta wonder when the contact is coming. It just seems like it's a matter of time before it comes out.
Well, Hearn would like to go, and he can't until Therian goes.
Full sense of urgency there for Hearn. Again, the two in front of him are duking it out to make the last transfer spot into the championship 4, and don't want to jeopardize that. And not to mention the car right behind him, Greg Mitchell. He also can make it to the championship 4, although he would need a win. But nonetheless, he still has a fighting chance.
Hearn is going to be intertwined in this no matter what. I mean, really, I think Rabel was probably hoping that Greg Mitchell gets in here and does this, gets involved in this battle. And as long as these two are battling, Rabel can try to put some distance. We're running out of laps for them to size up an effort. One of these cars is not going to do it. 2 need to pass Rabel, and Therian needs to be ahead of the 29.
Looks like Rabel got out what he wanted, but it's a little too late. Gap 1.2 seconds separating him and Scioli. Hearn looking for 3rd on Therian. 38's going to get the run up top. Now what does the 2 of Mitchell do? He's going to follow the tire tracks of Hearn going into 3. Going to look for that spot. Therian going to fight back on the top.
Absolutely critical moments. Rabel knows it. Driving away. Half a second gap. Coming up on 20 to go next time by. Therian losing this spot is a great news story for Chris Rabel in the closing moments here. Therian crosses over. He knows it. He knows how important it is. But he might lose another one to Greg Mitchell.
Mitchell fighting on the top, trying to get the run off. The car starting to fade away a little bit from Therian. Going to fall back to 5th. Going to tuck in line.
20 laps to go. Scioli is out front. He has been dominant not only this season, but tonight. But the battle for second is the one that matters. Chris Rabel, this is the scenario coming into the night. He was 2 points ahead of the cut line. Therian was 2 back, and they have been right nose to tail all night long. Therian has faded, though. 19 to go, and Rabel's going to count them all down.
Well, hopefully with these, that should be enough for him, unless something happens to him or we get on the clock, which that's entirely possible.
That is the worst case scenario for Chris Rabel right now. He's got pace. He can afford to lose a spot. Actually, now he can afford to lose it to both the 67 and the 2. As long as the 38 is behind him, he's okay.
Oh, Hearn, big loose there. Actually, he's going to let the 2 and the 38 go.
I wonder if he was going to let them sort it out amongst themselves. But that's not really going to be super helpful unless Therian gets past the 2 car again, and then passes the 29, and then the 2 passes the 29 also.
Well, again, very huge there for Mitchell in the 2. This is half of what he needs. Needs to be in 3rd. Got that done. Now all he needs is a caution, and if 7 chooses the inside lane, he can go and send it down in there, because he needs a win to get in, and I'm sure he'll put the bumper to use in this scenario if that does happen. A little further back, the 09 of Senesac, the 1 of Durham, fighting it out for 7.
Big backfire flame out of the side of the 09. Senesac, we haven't really talked a lot about tonight. He's just been kind of lurking in the background. Started 15th towards the rear of the field. It is now inside and due for a nice solid top 10 run. And just 15 laps left. Caution! Tellier. That changes everything.
Greg Mitchell, now's your time to shine.
Everyone's going to hit pit lane, so that'll bring out some more strategy as well. Here's what happened to the 47. Just loose, tank slapped, and almost had it locked down and into the inside wall. All right.
Now, gotta pick your poison here. Do you take 4 or do you take 2?
There's enough. This is so hard because if this was a green-white checkered, it's 2 tires, easy call. It's not, though. We're going to have 8, 9 laps left to go when we restart. I think you have to take 4.
We'll see what they do coming down here, pit road. This is the last stop of the night. Going to be the money stop. Which one do you choose? 4, 2, or are you Cameron Hearn, or will you stay out?
Well, there's always that. Wasn't going to win doing what everyone else is doing, so just do what they're not doing.
And with that move being made by Hearn to stay out, had our first lead change of the night.
Finally, at least. Got one in the books. So here's where it gets interesting. Does anybody try 2 tires only? I don't think that's the call.
Oh, that's your Garrett Grant.
Nope. Well, okay, the 7 took 2.
He can afford to take 2, and there is the 5. Looks like he took 2 also.
All right, so Chris Rabel took 4. Therian took 4. And Greg Mitchell is between Rabel and Therian. Mitchell will come out P5. All right, now it's all going to... The scramble on the restart is where this is all going to fall apart for Rabel if it does fall apart. Same for Therian. You're going to have 8 or 9 laps, and you got to get it done. And here's the other thing. Are we going to go green to the end from here? Absolutely not. We have opened Pandora's box as far as the yellow flags go this late in the race. And this is going to set up for a really intriguing scrap to the end. Remind you again, point scenario, Rabel up 2 on Therian. So Therian has to finish ahead of the 29 and have 1 car between them. Mitchell is in essentially a must-win scenario. Garrett Grant really needs to keep Rabel 7 or more spots behind him. But leading a lap, because you will lead a lap when you win, a win would do it for Garrett Grant, but a second for Garrett would do it if the 29 was, I think, 10th or further back.
Numbers are hard.
Yeah, the 29 finishing 10th is a pretty bad case scenario for the 29. So if he stays top 5, the 5 car is not a concern. The only car that's a concern, if they're in the top, if Rabel is in the top 5, is going to be Arian in that 38.
Well, big restart coming up here. If the 67 can get a launch, and he is the control car, so he can go whenever he wants in that restart zone. Could be huge for the 5 of Grant. Otherwise, it's going to be smooth sailing for 7 of Skyole.
10 laps to go from Richmond. Penultimate race of the season, deciding our championship 4 from the Area Lodgebox Series. The 67 is sideways. We're back underway.
On the tires, and now going to move out of the way. Garrett Grant to the lead now.
Oh, he spins!
And he's in the wall!
The 38 gets turned!
A massive crash, cautions out. Unbelievable what we've just seen. Grant goes spinning, he takes out the 7, and the 38 was spinning in the process as well.
Wow.
All because of the 67 spinning the tires on the restart.
All right, we got to go back and look at that one. That was wild. Here's a look at it. And then watch the 5 right here slides, picks up the 7, takes him into the fence. And then the 38 goes off the nose of the 27. And I think he managed to hang on to it somehow. But he dropped a couple. Well, he scored 4th right now.
Well, okay, we got 2 EOLs. Well, no, this isn't updated. Never mind.
Oh, the 5 and the 7 took a huge hit. You have to feel for Skyole.
Well, there is EOL on the 5, so that's Garrett Grant.
Yeah, Skyole immediately left during the crash. He was alt F4ing, led the entire race. People pit strategied around him and then crashed him on the restart. Hunter, that's got to be a frustrating end to the 7. He's already in, but man, what a way to end.
Greg Mitchell, this is your time to shine. I'll say it, said it again. Boy, oh boy, this is going to be huge if Greg Mitchell can pull this off.
Where did he come from is basically what I'm thinking about this. So now the scenario is if the 99 passes the 2 and wins the race, Rabel, if he stays 3rd, will move on. If Rabel or Mitchell or Therian win the race, whoever wins the race goes. You know what I'm trying to say. The 2, the 29, and the 38.
Yeah.
If they win, they move on. If they don't win, then Rabel is safe if he's in the top 5, unless Therian is 2 spots ahead of him.
Yeah, because then it would go to a tiebreaker, which would then go to wins. Therian's got to win at Daytona, so that would put him in. Mitchell doesn't win, he's out. Grant, we already know, if he doesn't win, he's out. And after that last restart, doesn't seem like he'll be up there, although anything can happen. We just saw it. The leader, the driver who's dominated the race got taken out. So we'll have to see here, but now this falls under the shoulders of Greg Mitchell, see if he can lock himself a spot into Nashville.
Well, here's another thing I can be certain of. We're still not done wrecking them. Whether or not it happens on the white flag or not, I'm not sure, but you can't dangle a playoff chance, a championship chance in front of this many drivers and not expect it to go south. And when they always talk about the format creating, the desperation, well, this is a perfect example of that tonight.
Yeah, and that last restart, all 4 drivers vying for that last playoff spot, they restarted up front. But now this is going to be huge because if Mitchell can go out and win, that takes Rabel out. He's out. So very interesting restart here that could decide who goes into Nashville.
It's definitely going to decide who goes to Nashville. To what degree? That's the question. Green flag, a great start for the 2 and the 29. Back underway.
That is exactly what Mitchell needed. Went in the restart zone. Outside lane did not go. Not looking good for Therian. Here comes the 99 of Ryan. But here's Beckner looking for 2nd.
I'd let Beckner go. I'd let Beckner go if I'm the 29. Don't fight this. The 27 can win this race. He can get the Mitchell car out of the lead. And if that happens, the 29 goes. But he's fighting the 27. I don't think he gets the implication here. I don't think he can run the 2 car down, but the 27 can.
3 wide in the back.
Behind
so
him.
they might. McGlashan made contact with Durham. They might cause a crash here. Then that could be the saving grace for Rabel. But it's still Mitchell leading. They're coming to 3 to go.
3 laps to go this time by. I don't know. I think that 27 would have had the speed, but now he's not clear, and they're running out of laps. Greg Mitchell might, from 8th in the standings, win and lock himself into Nashville with these 2 battling behind him.
Won't be the first time seeing that. Car entering last makes it into the championship 4. But man, it is looking better and better for Mitchell. 2 laps to go as they continue to duke it out.
2 laps to go. If we get back to the white before the caution, this race will go official no matter what.
Now
they're turn 2. This is getting dicey. The 74 and 09 up the track. And the 38.
Right here, look at Therian.
Big dive
here on Munsell.
Not going to do it. White flag in the air for the 2 of Greg Mitchell.
Well,
27 sideways.
Oh, Beckner's loose.
Here comes the 2.
That's not going to be enough.
For the 29 rather, but it's all for naught. The 2 car of Greg Mitchell out up front. No wins this season, no poles. He's had 2 top 5s tonight though. From 8th in the standings, Greg Mitchell steals one at Richmond, and he's going to head to Nashville and compete for a championship as they pile up out of turn 4.
Massive crash there. Malachi McGlashan.
And Greg Mitchell absolutely stole that one. Right place, right time. All the drama was behind him. Led 10 laps, and he will join the 7 of Scioli, the 28 of John Furness, and the 27 of Travis Beckner in Nashville next week.
He's going to join John Furness, his teammate for Fazika Motorsports. So now 50% of the Lodgebox Series Championship 4 are Fazika's drivers. So John Furness, Greg Mitchell, and Travis Beckner, James Scioli, all going to fight for a championship 1 week from now in Nashville.
And you have to feel for Chris Rabel. He did everything that he needed to do. Had the 47 not had that spin and crash, Rabel, I think, would have been in. So there's just the circumstances that Chris could not have done much about. I still think that had he let that 27 go, I think Beckner would have had the speed to run the 2 car down. But it didn't happen that way. The 2 car drove away, and we'll head to Nashville. Here's a look at your race results. 2 car on top, Beckner and Rabel 2nd and 3rd. By the way, Travis Beckner, for all the dramas he had in that race, P2 is a pretty good result.
And it was a drag race there at the very end for him, too, to get that 2nd place finish. Chris Rabel, again, did everything right, but that last restart, it costed him dearly. Ryan Munsell again in the top 5, Shane Therian 6th. He did not need that last caution to come out. Well, maybe he did. Either way, he is out looking in the Nashville, so he'll be a regular driver. And Garrett Grant, James Scioli, man, talk about bad break. Dominate the race, then you get taken out. But I mean, it's what Garrett Grant had to do. He took 2 tires, same as Scioli. Saw his opportunity after Hearn had that mishap on the restart, slid up, and that was all she wrote.
It was all she wrote, and for Chris Rabel, a 3rd place is not quite going to do it. Chris, well, I don't even know what to say. It was a hard-fought race for you. You were in position, and then the caution comes out, and then it just all went downhill from there. You finished 3rd, which on a normal night you'd be thrilled about, but 2 spots shy of Greg Mitchell, who wins and moves on to Nashville. Your thoughts?
Yeah, just did everything I could to put myself in position, which I did all night long, and it just didn't work out there at the end. But, I can't really hang my head on that because I did everything I needed to do coming in here. So, but I do got to thank all of my sponsors, Century Community, Southern Creek Clothing, teammates at Fui Esports. So, like I said, can't hang my head on that one because I did everything I could.
Leaving Richmond with a positive attitude, Chris. Congratulations on a strong run tonight. Wasn't meant to be for a championship this year, but we'll see you next week in Nashville. Best of luck to you there.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Travis Beckner tonight. Man, I can honestly say I was not expecting to see you up here tonight, Travis, after all the dramas back there. The 18 getting into you not once but twice, turned around, drilled in the door, and here you are in 2nd place. What a night for you. Take us through it all from your perspective.
Yeah, fun race overall. I'm sure my dad was going off in the YouTube chat.
Yes.
Because they were saying over iRacing comms that he was going off. But, yeah, Fun race overall. Got to come back from the back to the front 2 times because my PC decided to crash after qualifying finished. And yeah, that was fun. I didn't hear any bells ringing though, so.
Well, I was going to say that I think the world was trying to kick you tonight with the issues early on, and then the multiple issues and incidents that looked like for the most part you're on the receiving end of. But a second place, you're moving on to Nashville to compete for a championship. So how much of this, if any, lingers? And are you concerned about that bleeding over into the championship finale?
No, not really, because I didn't do anything tonight. They were the ones that did all of it, so I could care less because I do this for fun. I don't know why they take it so seriously. But, yeah, fun race. First off, I'd like to thank my sponsors, Collier Cutters Landscaping, Palmetto State Army, McConey Setup Shop, Wax Electric, Lodgebox, Rick's Hot Sauce, and y'all taking the time out today to come do this. What a race. And let's see if I can get it done next week in both the trucks and Xfinity. And this just makes me even more sad because I missed out on 1 point for all 3 championships.
Well, you're going to be in good shape next week in the show for the Lodgebox Series. Travis, congratulations. You also got a Truck Series Championship to try to win next week. Best of luck to you there. Thanks for chatting with us, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you. See ya.
Greg Mitchell stole one at Richmond in the number 2. 8th in the points coming into the night. It was going to be a must-win situation there at the end. The caution comes out. The caution comes out again. There you are leading the race with 2 laps to go, 1 lap to go. The checkered flag waves. Greg Mitchell, you're moving on to Nashville. Congratulations. I mean, what a race, what an ending. The whole thing got turned up on its head. I thought we knew what was going to happen, and then it didn't happen that way. Was that the same for you?
That was unbelievable. I'm still kind of shaking because that could not have gone any crazier at the end. I mean, James had us pretty much. He had the field just lapped pretty much. If we say green, he was fast. Cautions happened to just keep flying, and I knew when I was 5th and I had 4 fresh tires, I had 4 fresh tires at that point. I had a shot being on the inside line because that inside line was just going, and the outside line kind of got held up. But crazy how it finished. I'm still speechless. I don't know what else to say.
Well, Greg, all I got to say is good luck next week because you're going to be competing for a championship. Nashville, though, what you got for that track? You think you can be up there and be competitive and go for that win?
Well, I got to practice my butt off now, that's for sure, because we got some horses between John, James, and Travis. They're fast every week, and they're always faster than me, so I got my work cut out for me. But I'm excited to give it a go. I'm just happy to be in the mix.
Greg Mitchell wins Richmond. Greg, congratulations. We'll see you next week.
Thank you. Real quick, thank you to the sponsors, NAI, DeLeo Bram, Eat Sleep Race, Mag Bank, and Fame Construction, and all the teammates on Physicas. So thank you, guys.
Thank you. Hunter wrapping things up here from Richmond. Unexpected way to end the race. Your championship 4 are Travis Beckner, James Scioli, Greg Mitchell, and John Furness, who is not here tonight. That's your championship 4. The 4 that were eliminated. Of course, the 38 of Shane Therian, the 5 of Garrett Grant, the 29 of Chris Rabel, and the 49 of Alan Elwood. Fun race tonight. A little bit of dramas here and there, but that's all good. We head into Nashville, though, next week, Hunter, and it's going to be a wild one.
Indeed, we'll crown a champion for all 3 series, beginning Monday night with a Cup Series, Tuesday night with trucks, and then a week from tonight, Thursday, be the Lodgebox Series. And boy, oh boy, I kind of manifested that at the very end. Mitchell needed 2 things to happen. 1, need to go up to 3rd. 2, need a caution to come out, but didn't expect it to go the way that it did. But nonetheless, he still got the job done. Congrats to him and Physicas Motorsports having 2 of their drivers go for the Lodgebox Series title.
That's going to do it for us tonight here on Sim TV. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next week for the finale of the area season. Cup Series on Monday, Trucks on Tuesday, Lodgebox Series on Thursday, the last race of the season. We'll see you there.